This video is sponsored by Squarespace. You can make your own beautiful website or online store with this all-in-one platform. Hey everyone, today I'm filling a page in my sketchbook. I'm drawing a fox and a red squirrel and a bird and some foliage. And I did a lot of watercolor on this page and pencil crayon, which is also known as colored pencil for people who aren't Canadian or other countries that call it pencil crayon. I'm very curious, do you call them pencil crayons or colored pencils? I think pencil crayon is not as common, but I'm not sure. Sometimes people comment like, what are you talking about? What is a pencil crayon? And that's just what I've always called it in Canada. That's what everybody around me has called it, but I know that it's like usually on the box it says colored pencil. So I should actually look up and see if like any Canadian pencil companies say pencil crayon. I don't know what the origin of that is. Maybe something to do with Europe. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm currently editing this video and I was looking it up. And I think it might be because in Canada, there's French and English on packages. So you end up seeing colored pencils, crayon de couleur. I can't speak French, but it kind of looks like it says pencil crayons between the two. I don't know. That's a theory. So firstly, I want to say that this fox sketch is inspired by a photo that I found on Pinterest, and I used Google image search, like reverse image search to try to find the original photo. And the original photo is a photoshopped image of a fox with a bird perching on its nose. And I tried to find the first place it was posted and I couldn't really do that. I couldn't locate it for some reason. So I will put it on the screen and there's like a name or signature at the bottom. Maybe that's who took the photo. I'm not too sure, but I used that as inspiration for the fox. And then I found like a cute photo of a red squirrel and I added like a branch, and then I added like little like pine needles around the sketchbook page, and I added some foliage. And I would call this page like a total comfort zone drawing for me. It's just a portrait of a fox and then a little squirrel. So because it's not like a full body animal drawing, it's not as challenging as just like a portrait. And I find squirrels not that difficult to draw because they're mostly fluff and then there's lots of leaves. So I would call this page very comfort zone focused. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to draw, but I knew I wanted to work with pencil crayon and I really wanted to just like layer the colors and try to see what I can do with the supply. So I decided to do sort of an underdrawing with pencil crayon before I did a watercolor because I think this is kind of a fun way to start a piece. Instead of doing watercolor, then pencil crayon, I do pencil, then watercolor. Just for this little squirrel illustration, there's just something really fun and soothing and relaxing about like layering pencil crayon on top of each other and slowly building up the colors. There's something really nice about the fine, dry texture of it. The only downside is that it really hurts my hand. After a while, I become a bit heavy-handed with it and I end up pressing too hard and it hurts. It's not really a sustainable way for me to make art. That's why I like watercolor, because it doesn't hurt my hand like at all. Nothing about watercolor hurts my hand. So it's really, really great for that. You need just like a delicate touch to add paint onto the paper. But pencil crayon, you need to apply a little bit more pressure. You have to like grip the pencil a little bit more firmly. Because a brush, you can kind of just loosely hold it, but a pencil, you have to apply pressure, and that's why it hurts. I love it, but it hurts. So I tried to combine the two. And also watercolor is just a lot quicker. Pencil crayon, people who do like full pencil crayon illustrations, I have so much respect for them. So much respect, because it looks really, really nice. And I know how long that takes. And I know their hand must be hurting. They must have to take a lot of breaks and stretch and really like look after their hands. Now to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. You probably heard of them. They're an online platform where you can build your very own customized website. You can even use it as an online shop. And I plan to do this once I start offering my brush packs, because you can do digital downloads with Squarespace too. Anytime I want to update my portfolio on Squarespace, it's really easy to do. I open up the portfolio tool and I upload the new art that I want to share. I can delete some old stuff and shuffle them around very easily to sort of curate how they're displayed on my site, and the automatic image scaling will display them all beside each other nicely in a grid. If you want a little more flexibility, they have a fluid engine editor where you add each element onto the page, drag and drop them in your desired arrangement, and they all sort of sit on a grid, but you still have the flexibility of moving them around on that grid. If you want to try out Squarespace for yourself, go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JelArts and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I'm curious, do any of you do like full-on pencil crayon drawings, and how do you avoid wrist pain? Maybe I hold the pencil weird. I think I do hold pencils a little bit weird, and I tend to grip them really tightly and press really hard. So that doesn't help. I'm just like, I don't know, I think it's like a anxiety thing. Whenever I play video games, I grip the controller super hard, like my shoulders are always tense. I think I just have like that sort of like tense personality sometimes, so that kind of transfers into what I'm drawing at times. If you're someone who uses a lot of pencil crayon, how do you like have the stamina for that? I would like some tips, because I really like the way it looks, but I just find them a little bit painful to use. Just a little bit, only after I've been doing it for a long time, and then it's like, okay, I need a break. But when I'm doing watercolor or just like painting, I usually don't need to take a break. Sometimes on the iPad I do, so I think it really depends on the supply. I'm also really excited to finish this sketchbook. I've been mentioning that over the last couple of videos. I have loved it, but I'm ready to move on to a paper that is a little bit more thick and can hold watercolor washes a bit better. This, like, don't get me wrong, this paper holds watercolor surprisingly well. I wasn't expecting it to, but it really does. But it is a little bit limiting. It doesn't work the same way as dedicated watercolor paper. And I have a watercolor sketchbook that I'm going to use after this one. So I'm just really excited to start that one, but I'm also excited to just keep drawing in this one and make the most of it. It's been a really good time. I definitely recommend this sketchbook. I sound like a broken record, but I know people always ask, what sketchbook are you using? So this is the Royal Talons Art Creation sketchbook. I got it in the lilac color, and it's sort of that like mid-range size. It's about like 5 inches wide maybe. I think it's a good size. Honestly, I've been kind of missing working on larger canvases because I'm getting really comfortable with the small format sketchbook. So I kind of wish my next one was larger, but also then it just takes so long to fill the sketchbook, and I like to sort of move on. I don't like my sketchbooks to span like multiple years. I sort of like them to capture like a period of time in my life, and then I can move on to the next one. Also, my Patreon is back, and that is what this page is for. I have posted the February rewards. The print is this really cute forest raccoon and fox in a forest print. They're just kind of like cuddling in a forest, and I don't know, I really wanted to paint something simple and cute and like warm. It's not done yet, but I'll show the work in progress. I did post it because it's pretty much, it gives you an idea of how it will look, and then once it's actually done, I will update the Patreon post and then post it on Instagram and all that stuff. The sticker is of the fox and raccoon, and then the sketchbook page is what you're watching right now. And honestly, this sketchbook page was so much fun. I remember waking up that day and I didn't really know what kind of work I was going to do that day. I knew I had to do February's rewards. I'm trying to post them at the beginning of the month now instead of like partway through. Then it gives people more time to sign up if they want. That is sort of one of my resolutions. I didn't want to like actually say that because I wasn't sure if I could do it, but I took January off of Patreon, so it gave me extra time to catch up, and I was able to post February's rewards on the 2nd of February. I hope for March I can post it on the 1st. So I kind of have all month to work on next month's. I really want to get ahead on things. I think a big part of the stress that comes from my work, and in case you didn't know, this is my full-time job, like selling on my shop, doing Patreon, doing social media, YouTube, all that stuff, and all that like artist stuff, small business artist stuff is my full-time job. I do it all day, every day. And I think a lot of like the parts that I find the most stressful is deadlines. And It's pretty much a self-imposed deadline, but it's also not, because people are counting on me to deliver Patreon rewards, YouTube videos, like there's a lot of things that are sort of on a monthly basis that I have to deliver. And this month, I really want to try to get ahead on things. I want to be like one step ahead so that I don't feel like I'm falling behind. Like I sort of want to get ahead of myself so that it doesn't feel like I'm doing everything last minute. Because I really do feel like I'm doing everything last minute at all times. Even if I'm not, it's just sort of how I am now. Like I wasn't really this way in school. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I've developed more of like procrastination. I do think I'm generally a pretty ambitious person. I have a lot of like things that I want to do, a lot of projects, a lot of like, I think I'm good at executing ideas and stuff on my channel, but I just have this like procrastination problem that comes from perfectionism, sort of. And also I don't know, it's a whole thing. I'm sure a lot of people relate, but I just really want to get ahead of myself so I can get rid of that sort of procrastinating feeling, and I can feel like I can sort of breathe and I'm not having to rush against the clock, because I always have this sense of urgency at all times and I want to avoid that as much as possible. Rant over. If you relate to that, please let me know. But anyways, after I did the watercolor, I went back with some pencil crayon and did outlines, and I used a lot of my Prismacolor Premier pencils because they're just so buttery and smooth and I really like them. And I've been really thinking about, I don't know, like learning more about different art supplies, because I've been using the same brands for years, and I think branching out is really good for your growth as an artist. Like you can do a lot with one supply. You can like draw anything you want with just one type of supply. But I think branching out and trying new supplies can sort of allow you to discover things about your art that you never thought possible. So I kind of want to do more like educational videos about art supplies and about materials that I like, and I want to compare them against each other. I also really want to compare different acrylic markers, because those have been trending and I know I've been using them a lot because I like them. They're very convenient for sketchbooking, but I want to do sort of a couple of videos comparing a bunch of different supplies together. I think that would be like really educational for me, and also like a useful resource for people trying to decide between art supplies. I just think it would be a great video to make. So let me know if there's any supply you'd like me to look into. I'm thinking of doing pencil crayons, acrylic markers, watercolor, and it will all just be based around my knowledge, but I do want to research specific like pigments and light fast levels of different things and like pros and cons. I want it to be kind of like an in-depth guide that I'll have to sort of educate myself for while I prepare the video. I don't know when this will come out. I don't know how many I'm going to make. I'm just sort of beginning to brainstorm, but I want to do that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your comfort zone drawing is. Like when you want to draw something that is like simple and easy for yourself, what is your go-to subject matter? I know for me, it is woodland critters for sure. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in my next video.